Hey, what's going on, guys? Tom here, and if you have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, maybe you're like me and you're trying to get as much out of it as you can and you want it to look more cinematic. So you've been cruising all over YouTube trying to decide if you need to spend your hard-earned money on some ND filters to get that shutter speed to be the 180-degree rule, which we all have heard so much about, which is basically if you shoot at 30 frames per second, you want your shutter speed to be at 1/60th. That way the motion blur just looks really nice. If you want that, you need ND filters typically to cut the light that comes into the sensor, i.e. like a pair of sunglasses for your camera. So with that out of the way, Freewell actually sent me a set of ND filters to check out. They didn't pay me, they haven't told me what to say, and I honestly am not interested in pushing stuff that I don't believe in, so I'm always going to give you my honest opinion. That being said, I wanted to shoot a test between running everything in full auto or pretty much close to full auto versus more of a manual mode. I will say, I'm looking back at the footage now, and the one mistake that I made was on the auto mode. When I went to normal color, for some reason it reset the sharpness and the noise reductions. So the footage looks sharper, which I'm not a fan of, and it's actually really nice to see that difference because, man, it makes such a huge difference. It's kind of crazy. So I just wanted to preface that because that's going to be something that you'll probably notice. But anyway, I want to show you guys the difference between full auto and manual mode now. All right, so let's start with auto mode. So this is the Pocket 3 in auto mode. I do have the white balance locked to 5600, but I have the exposure on auto with the ISO set from 50 to 200, and the color is on normal. I think this is, you can see kind of the jitteriness there, which I don't know how much that matters. You know what I mean? If you're just vlogging, it's like, does it matter if you don't have the motion blur? I don't know. I've seen a bunch of videos on this, and I can kind of agree that for most run and gun stuff where people just want to grab the camera and go, it just makes sense to just turn it on and let it rock. So I kind of feel the same. I feel that more so even if you're going in and out of buildings, like if you're going from a dark space to a lighter space, or maybe if there's like a ton of clouds in the sky and you're going from, you know, bright to dark pretty often. But, you know, I think if you're just trying to film some stuff and you don't want to overthink it, just turn the camera on and just make it happen. Okay, now I'm shooting in full manual mode. I've got the Freewell ND 64 polarizing lens on here, and I'm shooting at 1/60th of a second because I'm on 30 frames per second, so you can probably see a little bit better motion blur. I still have the ISO set to 50 to 100, and I'm shooting in D-Log M. So I can't really see the screen because the sun is literally in my eyeballs, but I imagine that this is gonna look at least marginally better. And I think the use case for these filters is more so for someone who is trying to film a more cinematic video. Like if you're dedicating a whole day to shooting rollers with cars and making, you know, some serious content, I feel like this will really help give you the motion blur and make things look closer to what even a nice mirrorless camera will get you. So I think there's absolutely a use case for them. It just depends on what your goal is and what your needs are. If you're just trying to film something really quickly, it might not be worth it to try and take them on and off. But even if you're vlogging, like in the example that I have right now, and you know the sun is going to be consistent, it might be nice to throw it on there just to give it a little bit more of the cinematic look. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. So what'd you guys think of that test footage? Again, my apologies for the sharpness getting reset on the auto mode test, but you know, I think you still get the point of seeing the motion blur when I wave my hand and all that stuff. So overall, in my opinion, again, to reiterate what I said in the test footage, if I'm doing run and gun stuff, going in and out of buildings, from dark spaces to bright spaces, I don't think I want to deal with taking the ND filters on and off if I'm just trying to get some quick clips. I think if you're someone who is vlogging and that's all you do, then maybe it makes more sense to use them because you want it to look as good as possible. If I was going to do some shooting with it all day long, typically I'd be taking a camera and a monitor and all this stuff with me. So that's a lot of gear. So if all I have to do is take on and off an ND filter for a full dedicated day of shooting, to me it's kind of a no-brainer. I would do it gladly because the footage that you get out of this camera is mind-blowing to me. It looks so good. It's basically the size of a remote control and it looks fantastic. So to me, that's a very small price to pay for getting really nice video. I think there is a nice compromise in between both though. I think if you want to not use the filters, don't shoot in regular color, shoot in D-Log, because all I did was click one corrective LUT and I think it looks really, really nice. I think the color looks awesome. The greens are a little bit less saturated. The sky is a little bit more cyan. I just think it looks really nice. For me, that might be my little combination when I'm on the go. Auto mode with the D-Log setting on and the sharpness at -2, because man, that makes a difference. It looks so much better. It looks more cinematic in my opinion. Shout out to Freewell for letting me check these out. I'm really happy with the quality that I'm seeing. You guys let me know in the comments below. Peace out.